Now, did anybody from WCW or WWF ever try to bring you in with the Leatherface gimmick at all?
Cherry had talked to me when I was in FMW saying, well, you got to, you should, try talking to Vince or something like this. And he kept dropping the name, Chainsaw Charlie. Yeah, you could be Chainsaw Charlie, come over and do this or something like that. And I thought the liability issues, you make a fan fall out of his seat, you're coming out with a chainsaw. I said, I can't work this gimmick in the state. The lawsuits and the fines would coming out with a saw. I said, it's not going to work. So I kind of blew it up. But then I see him a few months later. What do I see? Cutting through a box.
Did you get mad at all?
I laughed.
All right.
I saw Chainsaw Charlie. I think, ain't this some shit? And I took it more good humor. It's like, well, good for him.
Right.
If I do something, I want it to work right. I want it to be something. I want to go full bore on it. Have, how you might say, artistic expression, not limited. Which brings me to another good story. Well, like I said, the beginning of our interview is I'm not dead yet, which was good. But, people have contacted me, such as yourself, to do this interview and a signing, for wrestling fans. And promoter in Philadelphia called me and said, will you work the ECW arena? And I said, man, it's a place that I've never worked before. There's just a good vibe in that building because all the hardcore stuff that went down in Super Leather hasn't worked the States. So I said, I wanted to finish it out. I hadn't been in the ring in 7 years. That would be a great building to do it in. I said, well, who's my opponent? They said, well, we don't know yet. I said, well, get back with me. And they said, Raven. I said, yeah, great. That was his building too. He'd been there, for years with Paulie and great things that went down in there, and he liked the crazy stuff too. So I went there. And then when I got there, things had changed drastically. Okay, no body fluids, no spitting. Keep this inside the ring. You can't go over the wall.
They got strict.
Don't break anything. Don't do this. Don't do this. And I said, do you realize who you got here? You got a bull in a china shop.
Right.
And you're telling me not to break anything? I'm saying, hey, what can we use for it? Oh, you can't use this. This is not. And I'm just getting a list of everything I can't do.
Yeah, the commission in Philly is horrible.
Okay. And then I'm looking at the clock. 8 o'clock rolls by. 9 o'clock rolls by. 9:30 is rolling by. I'm looking for one. I said, do you have a replacement for Raven tonight? And then this guy who walks through the door, forget about every bad thing I just said about him.
Yeah, exactly.
So he gets the stuff on and we go there, and then I got, what are we going to do? It was wasn't the intensity that I wanted.
Right.
From him. Okay, here, let's just do a match, and I wanted Super Leather to go out with a bang. I wanted that fire. I wanted the hardcore. I wanted that feel. And I just thought about it. He says, okay, I'll go out first and I'll do my talking on the mic, to the fans, and excuse me, doing things like, well, I ain't scared of no monsters. And I'm not scared of Leatherface. And, then they come out and they start charging the ring. I am scared of Leatherface. And he had like a manager with him that night.
Right.
Who worked the angle good, the referee too, and the photographer, and just old Leather kicked in. It was like, no, you're going to pull your stuff off. I go by a fan, he got a brand new beer. I'm like this, and I start drinking it. When he hits me with a barbed wire bat in the back, and boom, I spit beer all over the place. And when I turn around, he hits me with a kick, and boom, I go over the guardrail. And they're just like, oh my God, no. So I'm spitting already.
Right.
I've gone over the rail, worked myself back into the crowd. I grab my nail brush. Okay, we're the last match. We were the main that night. Here's a girl sitting there. Here's the ring announcer sitting there. Here's the doctor, and here's the the commissioner, and they're like looking at me, and it's like, oh, just another wrestler, right? I took the nail brush and I ring it like this, and they were looking at me, what the hell are you doing? And went whoom, and the table like disintegrated, broke in half, and exploded.
Nice.
The girl's pissing her pants, and oh my God, the doctor's falling over backwards in there,
awesome.
and that put the shock value right there. I said, all right, you still got the touch. And, you know, we just gimmicked it, worked the match back and forth. And after that, it was fairly uneventful, but it was a good match. I mean, not uneventful. I wish more people had been there. Ticket prices were pretty high that night, so it made it a bit hard. But it was fun. It was a good time just getting back in the ring after 7 years when I never thought I'd do it again.
You worked a couple shows down in Florida for Paul Heyman and ECW. What are your memories of working with Rhino down there?
That was a great match. You know, that's the type of thing that I expected. It was fun. It was Cocoa Beach. The whole ECW crew was there, and you know, they announced me from FMW Japan, and working with Rhino. Rhino, good, tough kid, fun to work with, was game for anything, and you know, he put me over like $1 million. I did a brain buster on him, and it was wonderful.
You did the next night too, I think, right?
I went to do the next night. Probably, oh yeah, show up in Orlando, and it was like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Well, we don't know. I said, then why do you ask me to come here? I didn't have any bad things to say to him, but
Right.
I just took it as like professional diss. It was like, if you want me to work, ask me to come work. You don't want me to work, tell me no. But don't drag me along like, hey, can I work now? Can I work? I've been doing this too long to be, come on. Well, nobody showed up. Okay, here's your shot. I didn't need a shot. I wasn't looking for that.
Right.
The night before, working with Rhino, great. He had tremendous talent there that I could work with, that I wanted to work with. But
You would have been perfect in ECW too. So.
Paulie is Paulie. I tried talking to him 3 times because I did want to go to ECW. I said, well, you know, I'd like to come here. Yeah, we'd love to have you. You know, Taz was working time. Taz, this is, you know, Leather or Corporal, and you know, he'd be a good guy for. But you can't ever get back with him.
Yeah.
I'll call you. 1 year goes by, 2 years go by. I'm not going to keep begging for a job.
Right.
You know what I do. We change talent, so you know, it was unfortunate because I think I would have had a good time. Last night I was sitting at the bar and Spike Dudley was there,
Oh yeah.
and I said, "You don't remember me, do you?" He looked at me. Yeah, I remember you. I said, "It's wrong how you did me." Because he was the giant killer. After the match with Rhino, you know, he comes in and gets on the top rope and hits me with the DDT, 1, 2, 3, and runs out of the ring, you know, like that. After I, you know, had that match with Rhino, I said, I still haven't got over what you've done to me after. And he thought I was serious. I said, this just wasn't right, Spike. Wasn't right. You doing just like, yeah, it's Paulie, man. You know, I was supposed to be the giant killer.
Right.
Kid, man, settle down. You know,
That's awesome.
So it was great seeing him again last evening, and you know, talking with the guys, and this is, you know, some of the other wrestlers there.
Were you surprised going back to FMW that I guess Onita came back out of retirement, and do you think he should have stayed there?
It's not. That's the thing in Japan. Okay, here's your big retirement ceremony, but then it comes down to a business decision where the business is bad. Maybe if I come, you know, we'll make money on this show and things will be fine. How many times can you retire in wrestling? Very few wrestlers retire and stay retired. Money talks. I didn't have that much contact with him. He was there, he was around, but he wasn't one of the boys like he was pre-90s, you know, early 90s, when every night he'd be in the main event and doing the hardcore stuff. After he decided in 94, you know, to get out of it, it was just sporadic. When he got in there, he was Onita. His name value alone was, you know, worth it. Oh, Onita's coming back. But the fans realized that too. He wasn't the same Onita. Japanese wrestling fans are very smart.
When you went back, you actually teamed up with Chris Romero, I believe, right? Chris Romero was his name?
Mark Starr's brother?
I think so.
Chris.
I don't know his last name.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know it was Mark Starr's brother. Yoshi Kwan, he was going as.
Chris Champion? That's who he worked when he was in WCW too.
Yeah, Chris Champion. Okay. Exactly. And you know, different gimmick. Right. He did a tour with us over there.
Okay.
I was working against him, and he wasn't real happy with me.
Why is that?
Because first time out, right? We're working. He took a chair and he said, "Oh, I'm gonna go hardcore with him." Nailed me really good. So I got my own chair, wore his ass out, put him in the ring, and stomped a mud hole in his ass. Not literally, but just a hard wrestling match.
Right.
Right. And then I get him to the thing I used to like to do is a standing suplex. I'd sit there and hold you up there for a minute too. And Leather put me down. Boom. I gave him a big suplex after that. He said, "Next time I come back here, I'm going to train. I'm going to get my size back, and I'm going to whoop your ass." I'm saying, well, maybe next time.
Right. Who were certain guys that you liked working with as far as doing the death matches with? I mean, was there a special art as far as working those matches?
Absolutely.
Was there guys that said, "Oh, I could do hardcore," and you got in the ring with, and they were way too stiff and had no clue what they were doing?
Nakamaki was a perfect example. He's crazy enough to do it, has the heart to do it, doesn't have the talent to do it. Wanted to go out there and do the hardcore stuff or do a good blade job, but his timing and technique was off or not right. You can have the heart, "Oh, I can do this, I can do anything." Can you take a bump like this? Can you work it? Can you sell it? The timing is essential in those type of matches. And when you're using weapons like that, which I've made a mistake, okay, I'm going to hit you with the nail brush. Keep your arms down by your side. You're going to take a gut shot. It's going to leave 20 holes in your stomach. Red dots, might 16th, I dull the top of the nails. I'm working with a young kid. He's in there. I go swing down like this, and he panics, and he pulls his arm across like that. I put a nail, 16-inch spike nail, right through his bicep.
Oh.
My tag team partner was looking at me going, "Oh, God." And I just took it, threw him, and yanked it out of his arm.
Right.
Go inside. Sorry.
What was the worst thing? Was that one of the worst things that you've ever done?
Well, yeah, that nail literally went through his arm, and he was okay after that, but it went through his bicep. Just the wear and tear, I would say. Like Masanaga one night, he comes out, Mr. Danger. I had the saw. When I turn around, I pull it like this. It was turned off, but the blade whoosh, cut in his forehead. And he was gushing blood,
wow,
in the first seconds of the match. I mean, the fans were eating it up, but it literally looked like I saw it into his forehead. Going through the tables every night. Towards the end of my career there in FMW, ribs were cracking, was slower. My right ankle was gone by then. Just giving out. You can only get in a car wreck so many times. You start to realize your mortality. It's like, hey, you're not as indestructible as you thought you were. Your knees. And I was working Mike one night, and he did a slide out that he normally usually does, broke his ankle. But I carried him for 16 minutes in the match. I worked his leg the whole time. Hit it with the chair. Oh, he's screaming like this and that, It set him up for a big table shot in the middle. He worked his leg the whole time. I'm going to finish him. And then he gets a reversal on me, brings me through the table. 1, 2, 3. Place goes nuts, and they carry him out of there. But,